Man,
Good morning.
good morning. You can see what an expert I am at Instagram.
I know, right? Happy to be of service.
Excellent. Well, we got a bunch of people joining right now. Hold on, just bear with us for a second. Pull up my schedule. Great. All right. Well, as people join, we already are at 11:30, so let's get going. I think Bashar Wali of currently still of Provenance. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great to have you here with us. Let me just do a couple of housekeeping things quickly, Bashar, bear with me, I apologize. So thanks everybody for joining us. As we go through here, I'm just gonna throw out there, if you have questions for Bashar, just throw them right into the comments and we'll try to get to them. We have a really packed week this week, obviously starting with Bashar tomorrow, Ellen Yin and Nicole Marquise, two really great restaurateurs from Philadelphia. Going to talk to them about what's going on here in Philly and food. Wednesday, Damon Lawrence of Homage Hospitality. Looking forward to that. That's going to be great. Thursday, Alex Cabanas of Benchmark. Going to talk about his global portfolio, what's going on with that, as well as all of his conference centers. I want to hear about the conference business. And on Friday, Jeff Loeb of Marvel Entertainment, who runs their television division. We're going to talk about creativity and the entertainment industry and what's going on there. So that should all be really fun. Couple other quick things. We have we've been doing a survey with Native Digital to get take the pulse of what's going on in hospitality and people's travel, their thoughts about what happens when business comes back, all of that. Any of you can take that survey. There's a link here on our Instagram account as well as on the website. It takes about 5 minutes and we're going to release the results to everybody, but the more people that take it, the more accurate it is. So please do that. And finally, if you can throw in a few dollars for ILC, would really appreciate it. We have a link on the website. You can contact us here on any of our social media channels as well. A few bucks would be fantastic. We have no revenue now as we're totally shut down. So any help anybody can offer would be fantastic. So thank you very much. Let's get to the conversation with Bashar. So Bashar, talk to us a little bit about, well, tell us, let's just start out with, obviously there was an announcement recently on a bunch of different news channels that you've decided to move on from Provenance, but I think that's at the end of next month, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us what brought that along and why you decided to do that.
Sounds good. By the way, the only reason I'm here is to get more followers, so I better get more followers. Otherwise, I don't want to waste my time on you. Just
No
kidding,
worries, man.
obviously. Delighted to be here. Look, I've had an incredible run with Provenance Hotels, 14 years. It's a great company. An amazing team did all the work. I took all the credit. And we did really good work. And my reason for making the move isn't driven by Corona. This has been in the making for a while. It's kind of I don't know, I'm very, as you know me, I'm very itchy always to move and do interesting things and do new things. I am a partner in the company and will remain so. So I'm very interested, obviously, emotionally, in seeing the company thrive post me. And by the way, I'm just one guy. What the hell do I know, right? If there's an amazing team of people that do all the work. So my reason is I felt that I was being hypocritical. And, you know, and through the ILC channels, I've done a lot of talks about sort of the purity of what we do. And although we're not here to save lives or cure cancer, right? We're just giving people a bed and a shower at the end of the day. I felt that there was a higher calling than just being a commodity, than just giving you the coolest next thing and the greatest next piece of art or coffee roaster locally and all of that. And Corona, you know, being grounded for a couple of 3 weeks is a dangerous thing to do for someone who's always on the move, because then there's a lot of reflection, and through reflection sometimes comes a lot of fantastic ideas, but sometimes comes sort of midlife crisis, as it were. So I just feel that our business needs to rethink itself, and we got too carried away in believing our own BS and thinking we're so cool and lost purpose. And you know, Simon Sinek, I'm a huge fan. I'm sure many of your listeners know him. Talks about why you do business, not what, not how, not where. It's why. And people say, well, I do business to make money. And I say, no. You making money is a byproduct of doing good work. But sort of this idea of discovering your why is really important. And the example that always comes to mind is Apple. Apple doesn't say we make phones. They don't say we do it in beautiful stores. They don't say any of that. They say we are here to change the world. And certainly I'm not egotistical enough yet to say I'm going to change the world. But I think there's a higher calling within our industry to do good work and really take advantage of the incredible opportunities our business offers people across every spectrum, and making them again become the focal point, not, you know, my golden woolly mammoth outside my front yard or the cool coffee that I have in my room. So I've always talked about humanity, which is too big a word to use here, because again, what the hell are we doing, right? We're in the hotel business. But sort of the humanness factor of hotels, I think we as an industry have strayed way too far away from it. And although I've talked about it a lot, I don't feel that I've walked the talk. And hopefully in the next chapter, I want it to be centered on that idea of doing well. And I know I'm babbling, but I want to bring one other thing that's really been eating at me through Corona. And it seems like the idea of kindness, period, kindness, up to your boss, sideways to your coworkers, down to your employees, your neighbors, strangers. We've again, as a society, have gone away from it because we're stuck in the rat race. And I want kindness to govern what we do next in every aspect of life, not just hospitality, but certainly through our small lens of hospitality is kindness needs to be at the core and center of what we do. Again, not suggesting that we are not for profit and it's a kumbaya kind of thing. We want to make money, but making money should be the byproduct of doing good work. Do good work, be kind to everyone around you, and you will make money.
Okay, so you brought up a lot of very interesting points, and I got a lot of comments.
I'm full of it, I told you.
Yeah, you got it going there, buddy. So the first thing I would say is that you know, you're obviously Simon Sinek does a great job of pushing us to ask why. I would argue that there are a lot of people in the industry. You said that money is not at the core. You have to ask yourself why you're doing this. I would argue that there are a lot of people in the industry. Matter of fact, I would say the vast majority of the industry is doing it so that they can make money.
Right.
So I think there are many fewer people who do it for another reason. I applaud you for thinking in this way.
Right.
But I think that the majority of people do it to make money. And I'm not only saying that because a deal has to make money to do the deal. I think that most people are driven by that, or a lot of them are. Maybe this is just me being, I'm looking for the word, but negative on the human race. But I think that most people are driven by that above all other things, whether they want to be the coolest.
And there lies the fundamental point. Make no mistake about it. I want to make money. But I don't want my reason for waking up every morning to be making money. I want to wake up in the morning eager to go do good work, eager to go engage with other humans kindly, and I believe if you do things right and you do right by people, you will make money. But when money making becomes your North Star, it becomes problematic because it makes you ignore humanity, becomes just a means to an end in carnage. And I just don't want to live in a world like that. Now, again, please don't, excuse me, I know I'm sounding a little righteous and I don't mean to sound righteous. I absolutely want to make money. I want people that are coming along for the ride to enjoy the benefit of making money. I'm not suggesting this is a not-for-profit. I'm just saying there are better ways to make money than cutthroat, may the bridges I burn light the way, step on everyone along the way to make money. I think, and because our industry specifically is so human-centered, right? Because we've talked a lot about service versus hospitality. We're in the business of invoking feelings in people, which comes from humans. It seems like we should practice what we preach. We should walk the talk again. And that's where I feel hypocritical, is we talk about it a lot, yet we ignore the carnage along the way.
Yeah, okay. And so I agree with everything you just said. I just think that most people don't think like you're thinking right now, but I do agree with what you said, and I think it's great that you're bringing it up. So something that we talked about, or at least I talked about a lot in when I was getting my MBA many years ago. There a number of classes was the triple bottom line, and where you're looking at a profitable venture, an economic bottom line. You're looking at an environmental bottom line. So you're creating a profit for the environment, and you're also looking at a social bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you assisting with whatever venture you're doing? How are you helping society create some kind of profit as well, right? So that triple bottom line is something that's very difficult to do. I would say. I think it's very challenging. I mean, it's challenging enough just to have an economic bottom line, but then you add these others, and it makes it even more difficult.
But look, in the spirit of our industry, I'll use terminology from our industry. We talk about our market share being the ultimate gauge of our success, right? And market share is a statistic that comes out of our STAR report that says, if there's a pie I belong in, how much of the pie do I deserve? And that has become the only metric we look at. But the way I look at it, to sort of distill it down, is I say, look, I want more than my fair share of attracting incredible talent, which means I have to do right by said talent, right? Creating a good work environment, making sure that I'm sharing in the profits with them to create a pool that gives me more than my fair share of talent. I want more than my fair share of PR, earned media, not bought media. Anybody can buy earned media. How do you get earned media? By doing good things, by cleaning the city you live in, by contributing to causes, by volunteering your time, not by just having a walk of shame kit in your minibar. It really is about doing, which addresses your issue about doing right by the environment, so to speak. So I think when you get your fair share of more than your fair share, more than your fair share of quality employees and partners, quality PR, quality, the end result of all that incremental market share you get would be the market share you get on the STAR report, because do good work and people will pay attention. Now, again, we talk a lot about brands and the value of points and the fact that they bribe you with points. Those customers have their own motivations. They're never going to be customers for the space we play in, sort of this independent space. But I think there are a lot of people out there that are thinking, and Corona has certainly pushed people to self-reflect a lot, and people are voting with their dollars, right? We see it on the political side, but we're also starting to see it on the retail side and where people spend their money. So if you're socially conscious, you're going to look for someone who has similar values to you and spend your money with them. So I argue at the end of the day, there's room for everybody. And I'm not suggesting this is the only path to salvation.
No, I don't.
There's not enough people thinking this way. There's more people thinking the other way.
I agree with you. And it takes, I think what you're trying to stipulate for us is something that takes much more effort and energy to do. It's not the easy way. And I love that, because I'm definitely somebody who searches for the hard way. If I was focused solely on money, ILC would never have happened and would not continue to happen, because we don't make any. But that's okay. You have to do things that you find not only pleasure in, but you think will I don't know, move society along, move humanity along, create benefit for others as well. And something that is intrinsically difficult is a challenge and should be gone after, I think. So do you think, I think an example, the only one I can think of right this second off the top of my head, and I'm sure there are others, is Eaton Workshop, Kat Lowe's outfit. And we obviously gave her our Start Something Award a couple of years ago. I think that she does, or at least is attempting to have a triple bottom line. Is that what you're is something similar to that what you're thinking of, or something different?
I think it's in the vernacular. I think she certainly made a difference and thought about things differently. I mean, she obviously had the fortune of having a good start with a big bank account behind her.
Yeah, huge bank account.
And hers was a bit more activism centered. I just don't want, my thinking isn't about activism in its negative form. I could care less about politics. This has zero to do with politics. Activism to me is is an internal thing. If you want to be an activist, fine. I don't want to use that word. It has negative connotation around it. I think I mean, look, there's a lot of good people doing really great work out there, right? I mean, Bunkhouse started great. Ace, ultimately, they were really the pioneers in that space where they didn't give a damn about what anyone thought and did what they felt they wanted to do that was different and unique. And Alex was a genius, Alex Calderwood. So I think lots of people have started. It's just there hasn't been enough momentum behind it to make it get equal attention as everyone else and everything else. And I've talked often about we as an industry have become chasers of the next thing. We all keep trying to outdo each other or keep up with the Joneses. And we've lost sight of what's important because we sort of got stuck in this rat race wheel and we just kept chasing each other in an endless wheel. And I think we need more people to jump off the wheel, say the hell with the wheel, forget the next thing. I am interested in the other thing. I'm not interested in the next thing. Because the next thing has become largely about things, and things don't matter at the end of the day. We've all seen it through this time, right? I mean, sitting at home, what really mattered most to you are those, we talk about social distancing, which I believe is the wrong terminology. We need physical distancing, not social distancing. If we've needed anything more than ever during Corona, is being closer to each other emotionally and really feeling that you're part of something bigger than you are. You're not just alone at home and no one else cares about you. You are a part of a bigger circle and part of a bigger cause and part of something bigger than you and I and all of us combined.
Agreed. I think if your life doesn't have mission beyond your work, which I, by the way, enjoy very much what I do, so that's a passion of mine, but also if you don't have some other passion, or I hate to call it a hobby, but interest, strong interest in something else, you can tell now. I mean, I'm looking at my neighbors and their only interest was in, whatever, watching sports on TV, which is a fine pastime. I'm not saying it's bad. There is no sports now. So if you don't have something that actually interests you beyond somebody's external or some company's external broadcast to you, you have a hard time during this period of time where you're sort of set adrift and people are sort of looking for meaning. And so that's something I've been practicing for years and years and years, but I think that people are realizing now that maybe that's something that's valuable.
And again, look, we're not curing cancer. We're not curing Corona. At the end of the day, we are giving you a bed and a shower because you need it. And what I'm interested in is creating something that's far more than a commodity. And look, again, I'm not going to be egotistical and say, if you have no reason to travel, what I'm going to do is so spectacular that you'll travel just to see it, because that won't be the case. But the idea is people want to feel good about what they do, who they connect with, who they associate with, and where they spend their dollars. And I think it's becoming harder and harder, like Whole Foods, right? I mean, started sort of in that vernacular. Forget what they sold, forget the quality of what they sold pre-Amazon. When you walked in, you felt good. There was a good feeling. You felt that you were in your small way doing something right. You didn't know for whom, you didn't know what, but you just felt good about it. I can't think of a hotel that gives me that feeling now. And I think it's a missed opportunity. And I think the idea that Whole Foods started with, well, now you can argue it's Amazon, it's lost that thing.
And even before they were bought, I think you're talking Whole Foods
the
sort
early
of in the
80s
90s.
and 90s, right?
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I agree with totally.
You felt good. And maybe that model is not sustainable long-term for growth, but that's okay, because while you're doing it, you're bringing people up with you and you're creating that feeling, right? Again, it's not about the product. It's not about how much it costs. It's not about what it is or what the label says. When you walked through the doors of a Whole Food, you felt good about yourself. And given the world around us and the negativity around us now, I think it would behoove us all to find those places that make us feel good. Make us feel good, not I'm going to a homeless shelter to feed people. That's different. But the idea is that where I spend my time, where I spend my energy, where I find inspiration, and where I spend my money needs to give me that feeling and purpose, if you will.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. Stephen just put on here Trader Joe's. I think Trader Joe's used to be great as well, by the way, like Whole Foods in the 90s. It's now changed as well. Banana Republic used to be great. Banana Republic was this collection of really cool, interesting clothes from all over the place before Gap bought them and all that kind of stuff. So I agree with you. I think that's a very interesting point. And I think and we talked about this on our Indie Colorcast podcast, you and I, about when you start to reproduce a brand, when you start to reproduce the same thing over and over again, you lose the ability to do that. When you get to a certain size, you have to do that. I think if you want to grow, if your goal is to grow a company to a certain, 50 units or 100 units, you start to reproduce the same things over and over again, and then you lose what you're talking about. I think.
But remember, I'm not talking about things. I'm talking about making sure that your North Star never changes. It could be the same building photocopied again and again and again, as long as you maintain that North Star, doing good work, being kind, absolutely gets harder. It's easily manageable when it's a handful and you and your core team can touch and feel every single one of them regularly versus having 100 units. But look, by definition, independent, right? And you and I have had those arguments about what is the definition of independent anymore. I mean, a brand with 5 locations, 10 locations, sure can have that feel. 50, definitely not. I agree with you. And look, Kimpton, again, spectacular company, pioneers in the industry. When they had 20, 30 hotels, you felt that thing that Kimpton had. But at some point, size creates that problem where you can't maintain it. But my point is less about aesthetic, less about things, less about amenities, and more about the North Star, why you wake up in the morning. That doesn't have to change. And so long as you are relentless, militant about that culture that you create, not easy to maintain, I agree with you, but so long as you're militant about it and absolutely neurotic about it, I think it's hard, but it's doable. Not 100 locations. You can't do it with 100 locations.
No, but I know,
10,
I think
20,
it is doable.
30, you definitely can.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. So but before you joined Provenance, were you already living in Portland?
I was for a short while. I started in New England, had a stint in Southern California, and I've been in Portland since 2003.
So, and you guys have done at Provenance, you've done quite a number of hotels there. Obviously, there's also a Hoxton.
Yep, we have 6 hotels in Portland, and Hoxton opened last year.
Okay, so I mean, you know, at least in your current company, you're pretty well saturated in Portland.
Sure.
Thinking about new things, I mean, obviously you have a family, they're all there. You probably have kids in school. By the way, I've seen a bunch of people with the moniker Wally joining this call here. So you must have really rallied the troops.
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah, you got a bunch of people on here.
I paid them all. I paid them all. Don't worry. Venmo coming to everyone. Thank you.
I would expect nothing less.
Exactly.
Are you gonna? Do you have any plans to leave Portland? Stay in Portland? Doesn't mean you have to do hotels in Portland.
Sure. I've always said I'm a global citizen, right? And I never want to claim any place to be home, because the idea is if I have a hotel and pick a city, that city feels like home. And, you know, with Provenance, we did the hotel in New Orleans, and I spent so much time in New Orleans. And I literally tell people I have as many friends in New Orleans, and it's a very special city, obviously. There is no city in the US like New Orleans.
Unbelievable.
So shout out to New Orleans. But I have as many friends in New Orleans as I do in Portland. So I am sort of a global citizen by definition. And although Portland is where I pay mortgage, right? At the end of the day, I feel that any place I lay my head for a night becomes home to me, because I really want to become part of the fabric of that city. But for the foreseeable future, I have a big network here of incredible friends and supporters and fans that I have no reason to leave. But certainly if I felt the need for me to be in, pick a city, pick a country, pick a continent, I'm not opposed to it. I have no reason to. You know, as you know, I live on Delta Airline. And by the way, I literally every day go to that Delta app 10 times a day. I don't know why. It's like muscle memory. And I can't wait till I can get on a plane again. But ultimately, this is home. And for the time being, I love the city. I love what it has to offer. And it honestly has sort of shaped my view on life, because Portland has that sort of sensibility that I'm speaking of, sort of the kindness. It has a Midwestern sensibility, but a West Coast sophistication. So for the time being, it's home. I have no intent on leaving or going anywhere. Except Delta Airlines.
Except Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
That's right. I like it. So, well, I'll tell you, there's just so many questions I would ask. Somebody put a question on here earlier that we didn't get a chance to answer, but while I'm thinking of my next 5.
I see Morgan welcoming me to NYC, by the way, from Jal.
Yeah.
I'm all for NYC. My heart is in NYC. So I'm just waiting. I'm wishing ill on real estate in NYC again. Sorry, New York friends. I hope your real estate crashes so bad that I can buy something affordable in the West Village where I want to be. So
yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to buy something. Somebody put on here, do you think that luxury is going to be the first to bounce back, or the last? My vote is last, but I let you talk about that for a second.
Well, first and foremost, debating the idea of what is luxury. I mean, it means so many different things to different people. I have friends who run the brand Jenny Kane out of LA. It's a clothing brand mostly for women and homeware. I think of that as luxury. So luxury isn't the old definition of luxury, because I think depending on your generation and or your obviously affluence, it has different meanings to different people. To me, luxury is a place where you feel well taken care of and pampered. And look, some people want their bags unpacked and their boxer shorts ironed when they arrive in a hotel, and that's luxury to them. Some people want nothing more than to feel welcomed. So I think the definition of luxury will inevitably change. Not for everyone, because look, if you're if you're an Aman customer and that's your thing, you're always going to be going there. What does it come back first? Does it come back last? I think generally speaking, if you can afford an Aman or a Shangri-La or any of those, even though you may have lost half of your net worth, you still can afford them, right? It's all relative. I think the question becomes for sort of the more approachable luxury. Does that come back first? Do they have to adjust? I don't really have a crystal ball on it. I think fundamentally people are going to be more cautious with their dollar, and they're going to be looking for value, right? And again, the definition of value varies. I use the example of Warby Parker. I love that company. And Warby Parker says, look, you can go buy Prada sunglasses and eyeglasses, or Tom Ford eyeglasses, and spend $500 on the frame. We want to give you 80% of the quality, not 100%, 80%, but for 50% of the price. And people who shop at Warby Parker think it's a luxury product because of the allure of the brand creates a luxury around it. So I think inevitably people are going to be more cautious with their dollar, and they're going to be more discerning about the concept of value. Show me real value for what I pay. And real value isn't always things. Don't nickel and dime me. Give me good quality of product, but make me feel special. Make me feel that the money I threw at you, whether it's $100 or $500 a night, is worthwhile. And to me, the only way to create value is to create a memory. If I go home and talk about where I stayed, value received.
Doesn't matter, right?
Exactly right.
I agree. All right. So do you agree that the first hotels that are going to bounce back are those that are sort of drive-to locations? Do you think that there's a pent-up demand for people just to freaking get out, go to a beach place that's an hour away and hang out for a couple of days just because they haven't been able to?
Okay, now you're giving me the platform to start the revolution I've been talking about a lot. So look.
Okay, go for it.
At the end of the day, we will only travel when we believe it's safe and when we're told it's safe. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anyone's word for it. Travel when you personally feel it's safe. And your date for feeling safe, maybe 6 months after me or 3 months before me, it's a personal choice, regardless of what the government tells us, right? So inevitably, it sounds like we're going to go to drive-to destinations because it's easy enough to get in my car, control that environment, check in a hotel, control that environment, and be able to dictate how I maintain my physical distance. Again, no social distancing. We need physical distancing. So I think drive-to market comes first. My personal prediction is right after the 4th, July 4th, we're going to start moving. People that have been stuck between their four walls are going to start making those drive-to destination moves. My prediction and hope is that the corporate economic engine, the corporate travel, will begin after Labor Day, because by then we have more visibility and we have some incredible scientists working on a solution for this problem, a permanent solution, a vaccine of sorts. Once that happens, all bets are off. So I think drive-to, July, August. I think more corporate destination, corporate travel becomes September. So my revolution that I want to start with all of you, everyone who's listening or watching, is the following. Andrew, you live in Philadelphia. If you know for a fact you have to go visit your in-laws who happen to live in Boston at some point when the things open up, and you believe today September is when it's likely going to happen, sit in front of your computer, get lost in the wonder of being a wanderlust, get lost in the wonder of looking at the Boston hotels, what to do in Boston, look around, and mentally transport yourself to Boston, because it's going to make you feel better. So you're basically traveling through the lens of your search engine and your booking engine. But more importantly, when you book a reservation for September, even though you have no certainty that you're going to travel in September until you feel it's safe, when you book, you're going to tell your friends you booked. They're going to start saying, oh, well, if Andrew's booking, maybe I should think about booking. then what you're doing is you're making us hoteliers now have confidence, because we say, wait a minute, we're starting to see reservations coming through. Maybe we should think about opening sooner than we thought. So the idea of these small moves that we make will start making the economic engine move and get unclogged. And most of these things we live through, by the way, again, only travel when you feel it's safe. I'm not promoting that you should, but a lot of this stuff is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we all sit on our hands and cry the blues and say the world is ending, guess what? The world will end. But if we all start taking our small part in unclogging the machine and starting to move, people will take notice. Now, ultimately, us hoteliers, shame on us if we make it hard for you. It should be cancellation, no problem, no prepayment, none of that business. You make a reservations, you want to cancel it between now and the end of the year, no question asked, cancel it. Because I truly believe until we all do this, it's not going to happen. And by the way, I am sensitive to those who've lost their jobs, and our industry has been hit so hard. It's been heartbreaking and devastating. But if you know you have to go, or if you're stuck between your four walls and you want to get out of there, even to go stay at a Motel 6, I don't really care where you go, you making that booking will make us all think differently. So hashtag joy of booking. I'm actually writing a piece about it to sort of say we should all be booking travel, airline, hotels, car rentals, whatever you want, because we want to give a strong signal for our industry that we're coming back strong.
That's great. Yeah, I think Stephen just put on here, buy certificates, gift certificates now to your favorite restaurants and hotels. Our friend Amy Ogden just has something going on. She's done
some amazing work, Amy, and everyone should sort of follow what she's doing.
Yeah, really doing great stuff.
And she's a hotelier at heart, and she's just doing so much work to try to help the industry. Even though she's not directly in the industry, there's been some amazing people that have been doing amazing work. And I think, again, the idea of all of us. Now, don't book a room that you don't want, because that'll send the wrong message. But if you know you're going to go, I encourage you all, I beg you all, please go and make that reservations. And if there's a hotelier listening, by God, please get rid of all cancellation policies and all that nonsense until year end at least. And let's give people the freedom to travel. And the gift certificate idea is a great idea. A lot of hotels have done a lot to offer discounts to encourage people to travel.
I agree. All I can say for all you New Yorkers out there is the North Fork. That's where to go, man. The North Fork has got it going on. And there's some great hotels called Sound View.
Oh,
just
boy.
Throwing it out there, you know.
I get paid to make announcements now. Amy paid me like $100 for that.
That's right. I'm gonna don't worry. I'm gonna send you back the 100 that you have to Venmo to your kids. All right. I think I want to leave it there, because that was a really you made some very important and great points, and you're also leaving us on a very positive note. So I love all of that, because recently I've been really getting a little maudlin, and so it's been good to hear your voice, and also to take some of the positivity from you. So going to keep looking forward. I'm dreaming for when the Indy Congress can come back and we can all meet with each other and spend some time learning, because that's what I'm really excited about.
And honestly, I want to spend the rest of my year. I've met so many incredible people across every spectrum. You don't have to be in the hotel business as long as you're adjacent, or even a traveler. There's so many people with so many spectacular ideas. I want to absorb and absorb and absorb and absorb, because I think there's a better way to do this, and the only way we're going to do it. And again, I hate to sound socialists here, but the idea of the great collective that we all have, that we built through the ILC community. I mean, think about the incredible people we have within our community that we can tap for ideas that would ultimately benefit all, and benefit, like you said, the social part of it, to do our part to help our industry. Book those damn rooms now. Get off this and go book a room somewhere, for God's sake.
Go book a room, baby. Go book a room.
Joy of booking, baby.
Joy of booking. Bashar, thank you again. Really appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, for Ellen Yin and Nicole Marquise, talk about restaurants in Philly. Bashar, you're the man. We'll be in touch. And everybody, keep your head high and look out for the sunshine.
Take care.
Thanks.